didn't have to cancel that live. Um, I'm trying to get set up here. Ooh, and I hope y'all can hear me. Let me take this thing out. Let me take this charger out because I just really want to make sure y'all can hear me. Luckily, this lightning port charger goes fast. I was supposed to have Stacy on, but I'm normally going live at 7 o'clock, but she missed that I was going live earlier today because first of all, happy anniversary to me, but second of all, I am on the SAG uh committee, the committee that watches the movies so they can nominate for the awards. So, and today is one of the movies. So that's why I am going live right now. But before while I'm waiting on people to get in, let me just let me just get people nicely invited. YouTube wants to open Telegram. I don't know if that's safe. Send invite link to guests. Okay. Okay. What I might have to do is I might have to go live right now. First of all, can you see I am sweating down? Okay, I am sweating down. It is just first of all, I'm in my closet, so that's why I'm sweating. Second of all, it is my 1 year anniversary of doing this show. I'm talking about, let me tell you something. I was listening to this motivating message earlier today, and it was just like, who are you making the content for? Can you withstand making the content when there's no one watching? Because eventually you will have all eyes on you. And I have to remember that, of course, when I'm going live at a different time, nobody is live, but it's the commitment that I have to be so proud of, that I stick with and focus on. I was supposed to go live with Stacey, like I was telling you earlier, but she still had like rollers in her hair. And hey, one person, thank you so much for joining me. I am in my closet and it is nice and hot, okay? And because it is nice and hot in LA, every um I think around every like September we get this boiling hot boiling hot weather. Ooh, that lighting made a difference. I think they call it like El Nino, like a El Nino summer or something like that. Honey, it is on fire over here. Anyway, it is my 1 year anniversary today of doing the Dale Show. And I am super excited that I have done something every week for a year. Let me tell you something. Oh my word. And it is just every week I battle with it because every week I am just like, okay, when am I gonna do? Before I was just so focused on getting it like monetized and just getting it getting all the numbers and then of course, but to keep going let me tell you what I'm keeping the faith for. I just got the green light for my show on to air on Tubi. Now the show is done. Okay, the episodes are basically locked in. However, one of the singers sang a cover song. I have been contacting these people like crazy about this sync license. Before they was just like, oh, it's out for approval. I'll be in touch shortly. And, I'm hearing back from people like, oh, just continue to work with this person. Now I am I have been contacting them, and of course, I'm sure they're looking at it like it's nothing. Thank you so much, Stacy. Stacy, wish you were on the live. Um, but thank you so much, Stacy. for being in the comments too, as you always are, because I really appreciate that. But anyway, I've been contacting these people so much about this sync license, and I feel like a bugaboo. But of course, you know how the Lord does. He always sends me a reminder in this motivational speech. And this morning, Bill Winston was reminding me through one of his sermons on YouTube of the lady who went to the judge so many times that the judge and kept denying her, and that the judge just had to be like, hold on, I gotta take a second look at this lady case. I got to approve this because this lady will not sleep, or I can't sleep because this lady is constantly coming. So that's how I feel with the sync license. I also feel like, I have a responsibility as the executive producer of the show. I have a responsibility to keep all the artists in the show. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if this was back in the day in my, when I wasn't as spiritually mature, I might have been like, all right, well, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. But I understand, this is what I understand. Even though these people, we was been supposed to have the episodes turned in, I understand that I am fighting for the Lord's daughter. Like, I am the Lord's daughter, but the artist who is on the show is the Lord's daughter. That is what I understand. And let me tell you something about the faith battle. It's real. Like, it literally takes my energy some of the times. I will I will be having to, even today, I'm having to just stay silent. I'm having to sing songs in the living room. I'm constantly singing the uh you never stop, you never stop working, you never stop, you never stop working. Then I'm listening to every motivational song about you know, when I'm praying, you're moving. When I'm praying, you're working. I'm listening to all of them. I'm singing all of them because I know the Lord is moving, but it is on his time. And yes, I want to go get the episodes turned in. I want to get them turned in, but I want to get them turned in the right way, which is not having and then of course now I've also too I feel like the leader in the faith movement. Like me, I feel like I need to have faith for other people. Like, and that's where I feel like my strength is. Child, let me tell you something. I will pray for my auntie when I will pray for somebody else, and that thing will show up like last week. Okay, because I just believe it. I trust it when I say it for other people. And then sometimes I feel like when I want it for myself, like I want, the license for myself so I can have the artist in the show, but also, just wanting it for her. But also feel like, I have to not want to, I feel like I have to maintain the faith, you know, just on behalf of the artist. Now, the artist might not even care, yeah, but I just do feel like they do. I feel like, you don't come out and perform and everybody's filming and you just like, okay, well, whatever, you know. So that's what I've been keeping the faith for. I have been literally just like, and then I was thinking about, like, a friend of mine is here and he's keeping the faith for something too. And we were just discussing how you never, like, you don't stop keeping the faith. Like, you go from faith to faith. The Bible says from glory to glory, from faith to faith, from glory to glory. And you do, because as soon as you like I was telling him, you don't be like, all right, I used faith last week, honey, but this week I have no need for, no, you be on to the next thing you gotta have faith about. And then the thing about it too is, like, the faith from last week is weaker than the faith you need from this week. It is, you know, I just wish, as a person who always like when you are producing things and the Lord is putting it on your heart to be a leader, sometimes I look back and I'm just like, Lord, why am I always like, I always feel like I'm the one that's got to go up against this. I'm the one that's got to do that. I just want a break sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I just want to I just want to be like, oh, contacted this person. They hit me right back, and that's it. Like, it's just something in my system that just wants a break. You said faith is a muscle to be exercised. Good thing we only need a mustard seed. Okay, well, we only need a mustard seed of faith. Yes. Okay. Faith, first of all, are you dressed yet? Are the rollers out your house yet? Because I can add you at any time, Stacy. Um, the thing about the mustard seed is, okay, you only need a little bit of the mustard seed, but you gotta plant it and it's gotta grow. That is why, like, the mustard seed is the one that the father mentioned, because it's so little, but it grows to be so strong and one of the toughest. So, that's gotta be buried. That's gotta be watered. You gotta have trust. You can't. You sometimes you're not gonna see it growing. You're not gonna see the results. So you just need a little bit of it, but you still gotta plant it, water it, grow it, and and then it's got to germinate. You got to wait without having the tangible results, but you got to know what the results are, and you got to trust in the Lord's timing. Yeah, I the thing about it too is, the way the Lord's timing is, even if I had the sync license, I still needed to do something with the episodes today in the first place. But I just feel, and that's the thing about the Lord's timing is, you do want it right now, I'm just like that, I feel like I'm being stretched in the faith area. Then I always have to, I'm also the person that has to giants, like, I don't know. I just, it's one of the things that is, I really appreciate the Lord trusting me as a giant slayer, a person that will see a wrongdoing with one of these powerful entities and have the nerve, the gall to be like, oh, no, 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 I'm a challenge that. But I just so wish it was easy sometimes. Like for instance, look at the job I just had. Okay, I tell you, thank God I just had it, because came from dead. Thank you so much for joining me. I just had a part-time job which I had to leave because it was consuming my life. You know, Now, I'm not leaving because it was consuming my life. I really was liking the check. But the thing about it too is, this is like watching dogs. Okay. So now, as a black mama, I can watch dogs with my eyes closed over here in the corner, doze it off, and see exactly what a dog is doing. I raise dogs, I have three of my own. The whole company is being run by people that don't have dogs. So they don't know a bathroom cry. Like the other day, yesterday, in fact, I had just fed my dog. Yes, three dogs. I had just fed my dog. Okay. And I had just taken her outside, but brought them inside and I washed them. And after they got out the tub and I fed them and she drank some water, this dog could not get settled. Now, I know for a fact when a dog can't get settled, something's going on. They got to go outside. Okay. Now they don't have to go outside every time, but I understand she is barking at, my guest randomly, because barking is communicating. Barking is not like I'm about to attack you. Barking is like, hey, something's wrong. This is how I talk. That's what barking says. Okay. She could not get settled though. She went to that door. She looked at the leash. Then she kept, every time I sat down on the couch, I'm like, I'm tired because it's hot outside. So I'm like, Jackie, sit down, sit down, sit down. She could not sit down. She was barking. She kept doing this. And so the final time when she went to the door, I was like, oh, she gotta go outside. Okay. Now all this happened within, like, a span of 5 minutes, because we have her outside. So that's where dogs need to go. Okay, so I take the dog. I let the dog, I let her go outside. She go outside. She poo. She come back in here and she is laid out. I'm talking about she is asleep. Um, yeah, we tell a dog to stop barking whenever a guest comes. Okay, and guess what? Me too. But the thing about it too is, I understand that sometimes they're going to settle down on this own. Yeah, they're gonna bark because these same dogs, I want them to be my alarm at 11 p.m. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want you, every time a guest walk by, you looking at me and you scared to let me know that something ain't right. I want you to let me know. But so that's why sometimes I'll let them settle down on their own. Okay. And I'll just be like, I got it, I got it, I got it. There's somebody at the door. I got it, I got it, I got it. Okay, these people, honey, they will feed a dog. Okay, feed a dog. First of all, they walk the dog every 4 hours. Now that's good for somebody that's good for my dogs. That's in here and they not doing no activities all day. Yeah, yeah, they can wait 8 hours to go to the bathroom. Yeah, because they're not doing nothing. But dogs that's jumping and drinking water and playing and doing all that, they gotta go more often, you know. So they take the dogs out at 10. Then they feed them at noon. So mind you, they already done gone 2 hours without using the bathroom. Okay. Most of the time, a lot of times the dogs don't even be eating, because see, when you have dogs, you understand that a dog needs to empty out its bladder before it eats. You know what I'm saying? It's just instinctive to a dog owner to be like, oh, let's let you go use the bathroom. Let's let you empty out. Then let's let you fill up. So some of the dogs will be in the crate a long time because they'll be like, oh, she takes forever to eat. No, because her bladder is full. That's why. Okay. So um then, you know, so they feed the dogs. Okay, mind you, just this is after 2 hours of not going out. They feed the dog. Okay, lunch. Then they put the dog right back in the room with you. Okay, so the dog can pee and poo. Now the dog just ate 30 minutes ago. Common sense don't tell you that after 2.5 hours and the stomach is full and the bladder was already full from the time before, it don't tell you to take the dog outside. But the people at this place, honey, it's like the Stepford Wives robots. They don't like, they be like, okay, well, I need the job. They don't challenge the system. Me, I have the dog's benefit in mind. And also too, mind you, when I'm going outside, okay, when I'm talking about taking the dogs outside at this place, I'm thinking about taking the dogs right outside, out back, a place they have cut out the dogs. So you're not leaving. You're not leaving the property. Anyway, I'm saying all that to say that, you know, I can't stand to be the one to challenge something that is crazy all the time, to challenge a rule. Me and my aunt was talking about this, and she was like, you can't come in somebody's job and just tell them how to run their job. I'm also not a person that does things that don't make sense. Like, I just don't, I- you know, and maybe that's why I've been working for myself. Maybe that's why I go by faith. Maybe that's why I'm always like living. My father called it living on the edge, and it's because I always gotta. I hope a grant come in. I hope a this come in. You know, and it's because it's like, I just don't do things that don't make sense. Okay, let me get Stacy up in here. Let me get Stacy up in this kizam. Hold on, y'all. This is good that I could bring you live right now. You said you got a burp. Oh my word! You see how hot it is up in here. You see how hot it is up in here. Hopefully, I get Stacy up in here for the last because I'm only going live for like 40 minutes. Um, but hopefully, we can get Stacy in here for the last 20 minutes so we could just chit chats on what she keeping the faith for. Let me see. Let me see. Is it not notifying me? Okay. I don't know. Stacy, I sent you the link. I in your text because you gotta join it on your phone. I sent you the link in your text. I just sent it to you again. I don't know. I hope you said I could get polio from that temperature. What area, what part of the world are you located in? Okay, here goes Stacy right here.
I feel so
Hey,
horrible, but hi everybody.
honey.
Oh my God, I feel so horrible.
First of all, the hair is popping with the roll. I
Thank
need to
you.
do, honey, I need to do rollers myself for my hair, but I wish I would sit up under somebody's dryer at this
You know what?
time of heat.
I'm bad at like not getting on the dryer. I'll roll my hair up in the morning or midday and just leave it all day. I just walk around like
Oh,
it's a
okay,
hat.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
I,
like
I
you.
wish I could do that, but I have to go outside so often
Oh,
that you know what I'm saying? Like I'm constantly
right.
walking the dog. Now I can walk them in the backyard, where
Okay.
I can have my rollers out still, but shall I just be like, okay, let's get this wet set from the shower.
Uh-huh. It looks nice though, but I don't know. If my hair is wet, it gets curly, and then it requires almost as much work to. It's actually easy to roll it up and let it dry because man, trying to get those curls right.
I know. You do gotta work at it. You do
Yeah,
gotta work at the scrunch because this
yeah,
ain't
the
even my
curl.
this ain't even my like regular curling. You know how you got the curly curl?
Right.
This ain't even a regular one that it like curls nicely, but you know how you be having to like switch it up, the
Uh-huh.
curling thing you use.
Well, it
But
looks really
I
moist
just
though. It looks healthy.
it is. Thank you so
Yeah, it
much.
looks really healthy.
I just what I just did was cut me some bangs again because
Okay.
sometimes you be having like I just rather have this already framed my face than me to be trying to do with it like do something with this.
I understand.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
She said she had to burp. I was like, my sister always said, "Oh, go ahead. There's more room out than in."
Yes. Stacy, what are you keeping the faith for these days?
Oh my goodness. So I have a screenplay that the Lord laid on my heart to write.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm having the faith that I will get it done.
Okay.
And so I've been working on the budget all day. That was part of the reason why I missed your text. Because I just assumed it was 10 and 10 as usual. So I was working on the budget today. And I didn't even see your text because I was so busy. But I was watching the clock
Mm,
to make sure I was on time for 10 o'clock. So
mm.
I
Yeah.
apologize. Oh my, I am
No,
heartbroken that I didn't
it
get
was
on
okay
time.
because I normally go at 7, but I got accepted onto the SAG awards committee
Oh,
where
no.
you watch movies and you get to be the one of the ones that like vote and nominate. So I want to go do that. I want to go, participate in it. It won't be every Tuesday, but I was like, this Tuesday, I'm just going early. And that's just what it is because I'm just going to commit to Tuesday, even if I got to go early. You know what I'm saying?
So do you actually do you go down to the SAG offices, right? What don't you do you go
No,
to the
you
what do you,
go. Well, you go to a theater. I forget where they having it at, but they sent out a location for the
oh, that's
movies, and you
okay.
go.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
not a SAG itself. I think I kind of vaguely remember that when I was living in LA. That this time of year they would have those those the showings so that people can vote and watch them. And did they
Yeah.
give you links to all the films too, or they don't do that anymore? Did they give you the links to the films that were up for
You said,
award?
wait, hold on. K Form didn't say it sounds weird. What sounds weird?
Us?
We sound weird? Or what we're talking about sounds weird? I can hear you perfectly though, Stacey. Okay, so
Okay.
they asked, did you need DVDs sent? But I'm like, who
Right.
even looking at DVDs anymore? So I was like, no, I don't need them sent. So then all of a sudden I started getting like the live invites because I guess they invite you live down. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so anyway, so I said I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna just walk in new doors, and
Meet new people.
um you said what?
Meet new people.
Meet new people because
Yeah.
you know how it is like I don't know how to. I was telling a friend of mine this. I'm never sure how to like hang up. I don't hang down, period. I pretty much stay on the up and down. But like, how like you hang with, you meet other people and they like a way gajillionaire. Then, like my cousin and them, they
Oh,
travel the world because they met some investors. And I remember my cousin being like, if you don't have a friend you could pitch something to and get $1 million, you need to get new friends. And I'm like, I don't even know how to begin with. You understand what I'm saying? Like I attract like-minded individuals, but I don't know. I have to genuinely connect with someone. I can't be like, oh, that person is a millionaire. Let me go over here and connect. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what it is. I'm not. I don't know what it is because you're right. People are all around us with money and influence and everything, but I'm you. It's like I just it's always been difficult for me to just talk to people and share what I have to offer. It's just I don't know. We got to get better, girl.
I mean,
Because
I feel
networking to
like
everything.
I'm great with Purdue. First of all, do your phone like this, like lean it out so you be the same height as me. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yes.
perfect.
Okay, so
Oh,
great.
okay, that's much better,
Um,
isn't it?
but and
Okay.
no, but I feel like I'm great with like pitching. I will go after the pitch conversation. I don't mind that. But
Uh-huh.
I just I don't go by if someone has money. I just generally go by who I vibe with,
Me
you
too.
know? Yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe more millionaires need to start vibing with me. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
I was gonna do with that one. But I gotta tell you something though. I was on Clubhouse for a very short period of time. Those streets are
Hmm.
wild. And
Hmm.
I was able to connect with Tony Robbins and some of their people that were on those lives that would come on the Clubhouse lives, somehow they got a hold of me. So I've been getting over the last year or two, I've been getting some really good traction with that group. Yeah, and
Mm.
so right, so I watch they in my they text me when they're having events and stuff, and I get a lot of inspiration from them.
Wow.
Yeah,
Maybe because Clubhouse was like all of y'all are on the phone. And so, when you on the phone, you can hear a person's spirits and you connect with spirits faster than like in person. Sometimes, it's like an illusion, we don't go by sight, we go by hearing.
right, right.
Um so anyway, so I shared with you a video. Okay, so I'm just
I
gonna
watched
describe the
it. I
video to
was
y'all.
obedient. I
I
watched
shared
it. I
with
got that part
Yes,
done for sure.
I shared with Stacey a video and I shared it, on my social media. This little bitty white girl takes this, toy out of this black kid's hand. And so the grandma is recording it and she was like, you don't take that out of her hand. Of course, she's talking to the little white kid,
Mhm.
and then the little black kid starts, snatching things out of her hand. K form, then you say, oh my God, it keeps resetting on me. Okay, well, we're still gonna keep going, but and glad you're here, so hopefully it'll stabilize.
Mm.
But anyway, The little black girl is, now start knocking stuff over. And the grandma is egging her on. The grandma's like, yeah, you tell these baby Karens what's going on. Knock
Mhm.
it over again and take it out her hand and knock it over again. And so the caption was, is this good or bad parenting? You know?
Mhm.
And I just wanted to ask you, because you saw it and you might have seen it on social media to yourself. Is this good or bad parenting, Stacey? Certainly I want a child to be uh unafraid to defend herself, but what are we teaching her, at this age with the continual, I don't know. What's your opinion on it?
Well, I read the comments. The comments were very telling. The comments were very telling, so I made sure I
Okay.
scrolled through as many comments as I could.
Okay.
And what I find myself agreeing with is that yes, you want your child to not be intimidated by another child, but to use an adult scenario with two small children, because she was saying a little Karen, I was kind of not feeling that. I was like, these
Yeah.
are two children. Do you know what I mean? Yes, they came from two different. Well, we assume they're from two different backgrounds, right? Because the
They
one
are
child was,
from two different backgrounds.
I
Well,
mean, in
two
terms of
different cultures. I don't know backgrounds, but two different
well, right, so I'm
cultures.
saying, right, because the little black girl, she was very well dressed,
Yeah.
very, she was very, very.
And they in the
That's
same school, so they probably got
right,
similar
exactly.
backgrounds.
Right. So we assume that there's some similarity there. The color was the difference. The color was the difference, and I just felt like I thought the grandma was putting too much emphasis on the adult aspect, instead of looking at it from a perspective of a teachable moment, like somebody said in the comments, for both of these children. Because I think I would have pulled them both aside and had a conversation with these little girls and said, wait a minute, did you see what you just did to her? Can you tell her why you did that and apologize? And then if the little girl was rude or whatever, then I might have carried it a different direction. But I just kind of felt the grandma, she just, just kind of, I thought, took it in a direction that I'm not sure I would have done that. I'm not condemning her for it, but I just think I would have handled it as a mother trying to make them both learn something, both the
And
children.
I was, first of all, thank you so much, Kay, for done. And cousin, I see you in the comments. Thank you so much. Like this. We're discussing right now the viral video that was going around where the little white kid snatched something out of the little black girl's hand, and the grandma was recording, and she was like, "Yeah, push that over, knock that down, and snatch that
Mhm.
back out of his hand." Um, I hated to see it handled like that as well. But here's the things I think about. I think that um you do want your daughter to defend herself, okay? You do want your daughter to defend herself. I also think about how sometimes in when you're relating to someone, because I'm just like, why didn't you just call the little girl's mama? You're an adult, like, so don't be, you know, ganging up on somebody's kid, because this is still a kid. So just call the little girl's mama. But then I think about the little girl's mama and where she's learned that from, and I don't know the climate of the area, and
Right.
sometimes you might wake up a Karen, you know what I'm saying? So okay, cousin is in the building. She said, I think she was right. You said, I think she was right. That little baby gonna learn today. We need to teach our kids not to accept disrespect. We don't know how long it's been going on before she put her camera on either. You said something prompted her to pick up the camera to record. I think it's been going on for a while.
Maybe.
Maybe it's been going on for a while. I mean, I like the fact that you are being raised to defend yourself.
Yes.
But when I think about you pushing things over, because that's what you learn. And then when you get older, are the items that you push over bigger? Are you taught to just keep on expressing rage by knocking stuff over and expressing yourself that way? So that's where I'm torn at, is because, you know, where does how do we start to now hone that piece of the rebel into classiness, where you just go and report that to a teacher and be like, hey, she took this out of my hand without, with the disrespect, like, that's, and I can see where the grandma is recording it, but like, if it's been going on for a while, grandma, let's get a meeting going on between the teacher
Right.
and her parent, you know?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Um,
Exactly.
because
Exactly. Something similar like that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, go ahead. What was you gonna say?
Something similar like that happened to my granddaughter, who's a real
Uh,
beautiful little brown skinned girl, and this little blonde little boy decided she was in charge of giving lunches out to everybody. So he decided he wasn't gonna take no lunch from this little black child, and blah 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 blah. And my daughter turned that into a teachable moment. She
why?
went back.
What did your daughter do?
She talked to the teacher. She said, "This happened. My daughter is in a role that we have placed her in just that she was, giving everybody's little lunch pails out at lunchtime. And this child is going to refuse this gesture. It's not acceptable." And it ended up working out and they end up being okay because my daughter
Yeah,
addressed it to the teacher. They talked to
yeah,
the child about it. They said that's not appropriate behavior. The child learned the lesson and everybody just moved on.
yeah.
Right.
I feel like I wish I feel like that is a sensible solution, you know?
Mhm.
I feel like that's the only thing I would want to see. Let's talk to the teacher. Let's get
Mhm.
it going because essentially like grandma, you're not at school this whole time. So, if the granddaughter acts like that with you not around, then they're gonna reprimand her, depending on
Mhm.
who the teacher is,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
also too is, I just think about, if it has been going on for a long time, like, some people say, then thank you so much, John Tony. If it has been going on like a lot for a long time, like some people say, then has it been addressed with the parents where
Mhm.
maybe the parents haven't taught, and then also too, you got to think about like, where you learn the mindset that you learned that from,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
that's where the grandma may be feeling like, oh no, you gonna learn today, is because the
Right.
mindset. You see what I'm saying?
I understood that. I understood the grandmother's perspective 100%. Like you teach your child to stand up for yourself. I agree 100%. And we
Yeah,
did have that conversation with my granddaughter. So we did talk to her about that, being, hey, you handle it beautifully.
yeah.
Right. But so I get both sides. I just kind of fell on the side of, you know,
Make it a teachable
addressing it,
moment.
make it a teachable moment. Correct.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Mhm.
First of all,
For
if
both
y'all are
children.
just joining in, I just can't thank you guys enough for joining the Dale Show 2.0. It is my 1 year anniversary. When
I'm
I
so
tell
proud of
y'all,
you.
doing something for 1 year every
Thank
Tuesday,
you.
whether people show up or not, is
Right.
just it is a real win, and it really helps you to learn not to be doing stuff for accolades and likes and views and all of that, because you really got to do it because you like it, because you got to deal with the fluctuating, you got to deal with it
A lot.
fluctuating, so you just got to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Stacey, this is okay. What is on a black woman's mind these days? What has been on your mind these days? What did you see that we need to discuss?
Well, I don't know if you know about comedian Reggie Carol passing away. That's
I
been on the top
do.
of mind. Right. I think I
Yeah.
mentioned it. Yeah, that's been on top of mind. The violence that we are perpetrating on each other. It's like, how do we become each other's worst nightmare? How do we become each other's enemy? I remember when I never thought that I could not trust another black person. Honestly, being black, I mean, where I never, when I, like to the point where you would really do something that crazy to me. But over time, we can't, I don't know. I'm very sad by this. Extremely sad. And because of the level that they were there, this is Cat Williams, this is Reggie, this is on a whole high level.
Yeah.
Well, you would think that wouldn't have happened on that everybody making money, everybody's eating. So, that's what really troubling in my
Well,
spirit.
so let me know this comedian Reggie Carroll. He toured with Cat Williams, and he was gunned down a couple of weeks ago or last week.
Mhm, mhm. It's been about a week and a half, I
But in
think, yeah.
yeah, a week and a half. And I just wanted you to give us the backstory because sometimes when these tragedies happen, I don't get a chance to hear the detail because it's just
Mhm.
so. But what did they say happened?
Well, it's still an evolving story because Reggie's up in Baltimore, and I went to his club and everything to perform, and he was an LA guy for years. I actually met him in LA, so
Hmm.
he's known on both
And me
coasts.
too.
You know, right? You met Reggie, so he just this
Hmm.
all around guy. He used to jokingly say I'm tripolar because Reggie knew Reggie. Reggie was true to Reggie, and
Hmm.
so the rumor has it that perhaps something about the money got funny because they were
Mm.
on tour, and that there was either an alter. Cat saying he wasn't there, so that remains to be seen. But they're thinking something ensued at the place where they were all staying, and one thing led to another, and guns were drawn, and Reggie's not here. But the story's clearly evolving. But I just don't. I just like on that level.
Yeah, no, I do. Listen, it's the whole reason I wrote this song that is
Mhm,
in one of the episodes on the show, and it's called Emergency 911. And I wrote it because when I looked at, like, long time ago, when they were rioting in Ferguson because police had,
mhm,
killed someone, and then I was just happened to be in the studio that night, and I was writing it about the police, and then
mhm.
I immediately, the spirit led me to start to also write about black men killing black men, because
Yeah.
you know and this is what I was talking about on last week's show with Lisa Durden, when
Mhm. Oh, I love her.
I
She
was
was
talking
good.
about the National Guard coming to a town like Chicago.
Mhm.
I think about all of the black men we have lost in the hands of other black men in Chicago. So, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll withstand some racial profile as we always do because people are racist out here, people are
Right.
bigots. But I just think about the people that will be saved from having an intercession of other people that are watching out for these black men, because we're not losing the ones where every time somebody is lost, ain't nobody being like, yeah, he should have went. It's always the ones that's like, he was thriving, he was in school, he
Yeah.
was an artist, he was a football, he was the star of this, and not that it makes a difference because everybody has their redemption point, but I just really do, you know am deeply saddened when I hear
Mhm.
about, black men have to be attacked by the entire world. And part of
Right.
that attack is other black men.
Yeah, it's
You know
all
what I'm saying?
exhausting. Right, it's exhausting. Like, where do you
Yes,
turn for
yes.
refuge? And the thing is, you don't see it in the larger community. I mean, you may hear, somebody OD'd and they was partying together and oops, but outright killing each other,
Mm,
it's just that's
mm,
what's been on top of my mind. I
mm-hmm.
don't know. I don't know. I don't even. I've been actually very sad these
Wow,
last. Yeah, just thinking about
wow.
that. Like, what's gonna change all of this? Is
I was thinking about the change because it's so many things on my vision board that I want to do, and I
Mhm,
actually, it's so crazy from writing these visions down. I have been starting to see them. I wrote a long time on my vision board that I wanted to put free therapy in impoverished communities. Neighborhoods that need
yeah,
it the most.
mhm,
Um, and then I wanted to put meditation in after school care programs. Now I'm seeing
mhm,
that a school just replaced, the after school care, like put meditation in, and now they don't have as much detention, or
right.
suspension is
Oh, I
down
saw
because they
that.
have the
I
medication.
saw that
Yeah, they
today.
have the meditation.
Uh-huh.
But I just feel like those are things that are like reaching the children, the after school care programs. But I just, I feel like the to me, one of the solutions, and maybe I don't have every solution, but one of the solutions is Tony said ego is a witch. Only Christ code is the solution because life without black Jesus ain't spent. Honey, you
I
got that
agree.
right. Let
That's
me tell
very
you something.
true.
No, you got that right. But the thing about it too is we how to get the and maybe that is one of the solutions too, is just literally changing the image of Jesus, because I've spoken with a
Mhm.
lot of black men, and honey, they are anti-church because the first thing that they mention out of their mouth is the white Jesus, you know?
Mhm.
Now,
Mhm.
to me, it's the devil's way of trying to lure black men away
It
by
is, no doubt.
consistently putting the image. But the thing about it too is, and what I mention to those black men is, honey, like you could just go in the Bible and see what Jesus looked like. You don't gotta, you could know recognize a lie and just go in it for yourself.
Right, right.
But I do feel like that is one of the ways to bring a lot of people to Christ, is to have, like, you see these murals of Kobe Bryant, you see these murals of that. You could certainly
Mhm.
have black Jesus everywhere in the hood, and more people would follow them, not them, but follow Jesus Christ.
Right.
They would be more
I know
open
what you
to it.
mean. Right,
you know I do
right.
feel like a lot of black men need to talk.
Mhm.
Benji, I love you so much. I do feel like a lot of black men need to talk. I do feel like I want them, I want all, I want everybody to be able to have therapy for free, like we have free healthcare, but I wish one of the things that we had in this country is free therapy, because I feel like not just I feel like anybody who needs some therapy need to be able to go somewhere and get,
And
like,
get it.
how, like, and this is the idea that I had too, that like I keep having in my vision board. Like, how you used to have these like phone books, like, not phone books, phone booths, like
Mhm.
Superman, he goes to the phone booth. I want a bunch of booths like that, like how we had the old phone booths. You
Mhm.
run into a phone booth and you could talk to somebody 24/7, like,
That's a good idea, actually.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like,
Yeah.
because that would calm down, that a police could pull up at nighttime if he feeling stressed or scared, or and that helps him to unite with himself more, thus treating the community better, and not that all the police are treating the community bad, because I'm from a police family, so I love the
Right.
police. But the thing about it too is I feel like we need that free place to express ourselves, because a lot of people just have this bottled up anger, and that anger is leading to stories, stories in your head. Stacey, what's another solution you think could be?
I agree with that. 100. I love that idea, actually. And one of the other things is having safe houses in our inner city communities. And there are some cities that
Safe
do that,
houses, like what is that?
where the kid can just drop off after school, and there's like a little house where they can come in. There's a couch, there's pillows, there's supportive community, there's snacks, where they can just let their hair down and relax, because our children are going through it. And
Yes,
these
yes.
schools, these schools, even my grandbaby is in a mixed school, and she said they fight all the time. They're
Mm.
all the time, and
For
I'm
what?
thinking,
For
and
what?
just for just because all the attention that I think is in the air, and these children are trying to you go home, it's dysfunctional. The teachers are dysfunctional, the janitors dysfunctional. I mean, come on. I mean, there's just so many things going on around these kids nowadays, that they're showing it. They're showing signs and symptoms of that. And I guess going back to that little video too, I guess that's sort of my concern, because having that child go around and destroy stuff and push stuff and do stuff,
Yes.
that's that, now I think about it, if that
Now
becomes her
you're in the
coping.
store. That's what you think of in the store when you get older. That's what you think of on the job when you get
Right.
older. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So there's got to be a way for us to, like you said, the phone booth or call, just call them and say, hey, I'm having a really hard moment. Or being able to go into a safe house after school on your way home from school and just say, I need to decompress before I go into this crazy house with my crazy parents. Just, safe environments where people can really let their hair down and not be judged, and be able to get some of that off their chest.
Um, you know what? I'm just gonna ask everybody that will look at this live. We need to pray. Father God, we come to you right now, Lord. Lord, we are in need of the covering for our children, Lord. Lord, no matter the race, Lord, help us to understand that we are all your children, Lord. Lord, help us to see each other, Father. Help us to improve each other's character, Lord. Help us to shine your light, Lord. Lord, we just need you to come through these black households with these black men, Lord, and heal these households, Lord. Lord, we just need you to help these people out in the streets, Father. I just saw your comment, Jar, where you said Crips are allowing people to leave for Christ and all gangs of life. Lord, Lord, send the spirit of Christ over there, Father, and let it be a big reveal to all of those members so that they can be in the only gang we need them to be in, which is the gang of Jesus Christ, Lord, winning souls and snatching souls. Just your work, Father. For you said that, Lord, if for us, who could be against us, Lord? Help us to know that. Help us to trust you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. You know, one of the things I've been saying, which I really believe as the hour seems to be getting darker, that I refer to Jesus. Well, I call him Yeshua HaMashiach because that's the Hebrew name. Jesus is the Greek name. But I refer to him as our brother and our king because I think that's the disconnect. We don't feel like they're, that he's our brother. He is our brethren.
Mm-hmm.
We have
Yes.
the same Father. He is our brother,
Yes.
and he will be our king
Yes.
over us.
Yes.
So if we can think
Yes.
of the mindset more so that way, I'm thinking maybe that will begin to help our black males to think your brother's coming back. This is not a stranger to you. This is your brother. John 17, he's praying for you. He can't wait to come back and intervene.
He
So
actually is an intercessor right
that's
now.
what I'm saying. John 17, he said, I pray for you guys all the time. He just hasn't arrived on the scene yet. But maybe if we could get the black man to see that that's your brother, because we've got the Muslim population that says, "Oh, he's a prophet, nice guy, but no cigar. We're waiting on our Mahdi." Right? They have another person coming, and then you've got our Jewish brethren who say their Messiah is yet to come. So everybody doesn't identify with Yeshua Hamashiach, as we know. But those of us that can and will, I'm asking, see him as your brother and who's going to be a king over you, and be prepared to embrace your brother king and work with him for that 1,000-year millennial reign. Revelation 20:6. We're going to reign with our brother king. He's going to give us things to do for the kingdom for 1,000 years. So if we can sort of see it from that perspective, a long term, instead of like he's way up there, I don't see him. He's sitting up at the right wherever he's doing. No, no, no. He's just waiting on the moment to come back and guide you during this 1,000-year millennial reign. It's gonna be
Mm,
awesome because
mm,
Satan's gonna be bound. He's gonna rule with an iron fist. There ain't gonna be none of this. All this stuff that we're afraid of now
mm,
because of our skin color and because our birthright, it's gonna all be squashed for 1,000 years.
mm,
And if we can see it from that perspective, wow, I think we'd have a lot more
mm,
peace on earth, at least between us.
mm. Yeah. Sassy, my cousin is in the building. She says the safe house and phone booths are excellent ideas. Y'all should look in that. You said I'm tickled by you two intelligent, pretty sisters. First of
Oh,
all, I
thanks.
just can't, you know, you are so right. When you think of, because I also think of the Spirit of Christ being inside too, it helps me, the Holy Spirit, it helps me. And I also think of representing the kingdom. So it helps me to hurry up and forgive someone, you know, it also helps me to interrupt myself when I'm not forgiving. To you know what I mean? Like
Yes,
it's so, just knowing
absolutely.
that I'm a house for the Holy Spirit. It
Yes.
helps me to get back to what I need to be doing for the kingdom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because we are you know living inside of flesh, but we are not the flesh. The flesh is just a house for us to move around.
See,
Yes. So, but I do feel that looking at the brotherhood of Christ,
mhm.
it's a sure way. I don't know. We're gonna have to get something going. Child, I'm just like, Father God, please bless us with some money. Like, I mean,
Yes.
well, we already
Oh
have the
my
wealth. We already
goodness.
have the wealth. But it's so many things like I want to do, Stacy. It's so many things I want to
Yes,
do. Like
me
one of the
too.
things I want to do is a prayer march in these towns. Like, we have the Million Man March. I want to do the Million Prayer March, like in DC, in Chicago, in New York. Like, go ahead. What was you gonna say?
No, I'm just saying that's exactly right. To take this,
Yes.
take the streets back through prayer
Yes.
walks, walking to reclaiming the territory,
Yes.
reclaiming our cities,
Yes.
reclaiming our neighborhoods. Oh
Yes.
yes, absolutely. Hey, when
Yes.
he sends you somewhere, call me.
Yes.
I'll be
I want
there. God willing.
like I just feel like I want to do more of those things,
Yes.
like I wish I had all the money in the world to get it, like to get it together and to advertise. I wish I could even with those Jesus being your brother, I wish I could put that, like put those ads at every bus stop, you know
Yes.
so when you walking by, you just see, some guys standing in the hood, and and then you pass them, and you can see the back of them, and it's just like, I mad, so and so Jesus, and it's just like regular guys, and it's just,
Hmm.
understanding that he is your brother and to call on him. So many ideas that I want to
We'll
do.
get our chance. We'll get our chance. It might be when our brother gets back here, and we do that. I don't know because then we'll have
No, I
unlimited
feel like
resources.
it's before,
But I think
because that's
it's
the way we
now.
bring souls to the kingdom.
It's now.
Is he guides us to do it right
Now.
now,
Right now. Now is the time.
Yes, right
Yes.
now.
Yeah. Right
Before
now.
we get out of here, because I've been seeing a lot of, honey, I have been bombarded with the ads. And one of
Oh,
the ads I've been seeing is the most ridiculous ad. It's this product, and it's just like, my wife almost died, and have given birth to my child, and I could barely make, and the guy is crying, and he's sliding down the wall, and child, at the end of that, the heartfelt drenching story is right after that is, but thank God I had this hydrogen water I'm like, y'all better stop with these crazy but that reminded me of your juice and some of the products that you sell. So I just wanted to
uh-huh.
give you a chance to let everybody know, without all that fluff, what
Fair,
you
fair.
got going on and how to support, the
Oh,
products
thank
that
you.
you got going on. Yes.
Thank you, Dale. So I sell two things. Well, I sell skincare, but I'm an affiliate with those. So with that company now, they switched their model. But I sell what's nutritional supplements that are in a capsule and a gummy, and now we have it in a powder. It's my website is stacy.juiceplus.com. So STACEY dot JUICEPLUS.com. And
Okay.
what I've been on the products for 20 years. My grandchildren are on the products. So all it is organic fruits and vegetables, freeze dried at the point of ripeness, and the formulas are so well put together that we've had clinical studies around the world documenting the benefits of getting that many different fruits and vegetables in your system on a daily basis. So thank you for
Mm,
that. Oh my gosh. And we
mm,
we start off, this is a good thing. We start off in the United States of America. We are now in 28 countries.
mm,
Yes, for word of
mm-hmm,
mouth. We're starting to you'll start to see us now more on Facebook. I noticed that they're bumping up their ads now on Facebook because we didn't used to advertise. But yes, it's all it is nutrition in a capsule or a gummy or a powder, and we've got that formula. The University of
mm,
Maryland is doing a study on us right now, and NIH. And
mm.
one more little brag every year at the Olympics, they provide Juice Plus at the Olympics for the Olympics that are waiting to perform in Olympian championships. Yes, that too. Yep.
Wow.
It's really taking it's the company's been around 30 years, and it's really catching on.
Give everybody your website again, and then we gotta go. And y'all make sure y'all follow me at I am Dell Harrison on everything. That is my website, that is my Instagram. But most importantly, make sure you subscribe here. Stacey, give everybody your website and how they can follow you.
Well, you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook. I'm Stacey Stacy, STACEY 247. So that's everywhere. And again, I sell the Juice Plus products. If you go to those websites, those my Facebook, Instagram, you'll see the links to get more information. But thank you, Dell. I'm so happy I
Thank
came
you
on.
so
I
much.
apologize again
Me
for the delay.
too. No, thank you so much.
Happy
First of all, y'all,
anniversary.
thank you so much. Nova, thank you so much, cousin, for joining. Thank you, everybody, guys. See me
Thank you,
every
guys.
single Tuesday right here. And for the month of September, I'm, on the SAG nomination committee. So I'll be having to go live some days at 5 and some days at 7.
Oh, okay.
But if you subscribe and you hit that notification bell, you will always get notified when I'm live. Thank you so much. Oh,
Yes,
I
yeah,
chewed
don't
it.
say no
Thank
much.
you. Okay, I'll
I
see
just
you
like a
later.
baby.
Bye, Stacey.
Bye
Okay.
bye.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye,
God
y'all.
bless
Okay.
everybody.
See you. God bless.
Thank